Everyone thinks owning a gas station is a license to print money. You drive past one, the pumps are full, there's a line at the register, and you think that's gotta be a gold mine. When I ask people how much a gas station owner actually takes home at the end of the year, nobody has any idea. They have no clue what one costs to open, what the company takes, or how thin the margins really are. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly what a gas station costs to buy using real franchise disclosure documents line by line. I'll show you why it can be one of the worst deals in all of franchising. And then I'll show you the alternatives that can make you just as much money for a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the headache. I've read over 1,000 of these documents. Let's go through real ones. Now, as it stands, nearly 94% of you who watch the podcast are not currently subscribed. Our goal is 75%. If you have enjoyed any of the podcasts we've posted, if you could please take a moment and subscribe, you have no idea how much it helps. Not only does it help the podcast, but it helps the channel and the guests we can get on the show. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the episode. First, the myth everyone believes, that the money is in the gas. It isn't. It's not even close either, and I can prove it with real disclosure document data. Take 7-Eleven. At most of their franchise stores, the company actually owns the fuel itself. The franchisee doesn't own the gas they're selling. They just sell it and they get paid a commission to do it. How much? $0.015 per gallon. 1.5 cents. That's it. It's right there in 7-Eleven's franchise disclosure document. The company keeps the fuel business and hands the operator pennies for pumping it. So at a 7-Eleven, you're not really a gas station owner the way people picture it. You're selling someone else's fuel for $0.015 a gallon. And it's the same story across the industry. Even when the owner does control the fuel, the margin on a gallon is razor thin after the credit card fees. The gas is what gets the cars off the road. It's not where the profit lives. The real money is inside the store, and Circle K's own disclosure proves it. When Circle K reports what their stores sell, they break it out, and the average company store does about $2 million a year in merchandise sales, the coffee, the drinks, the snacks, the cigarettes, and that number doesn't even include the fuel. They report the inside of the store as its own business because that's where the revenue is. So when you buy a gas station, you're not buying a fuel business. You're buying a convenience store, and the gas is the bait to get people through the door. Most people don't understand that going in. One thing I want to be straight about, that $2 million figure is sales, not profit. It's the money coming in before rent, payroll, royalties, and everything else that comes out. The gap between what these stores sell and what the owner actually keeps is the whole story, and we'll get to it. Now let's talk about what it costs to buy in, because this is where jaws hit the floor. Reason number one you might not want a gas station, the cost. And I don't mean a vague estimate. I'm going to read you the real numbers from Circle K's actual disclosure document. To build a brand new Circle K, the total investment runs from $3 million to over $8 million. Let me show you where that money goes because the breakdown is wild. Construction and leasehold improvements alone, $1.8 million to $5 million. That's just putting the building up. Site development, the engineering and the architects, another $135,000 to $250,000. Furniture, fixtures, and equipment, FF&E, $500,000 to $1.2 million. Now, if you want a car wash, and a lot of them do, the building for it is another $150,000 to $300,000. And the car wash equipment on top of that is $215,000 to $900,000. The point of sale and the computer systems are next, $50,000 to $80,000. The signs, $50,000 to $150,000 just for signs. Then your inventory to stock the place, $100,000 to $220,000. Insurance, up to $24,000 a year. A fuel security deposit to the company, $20,000 to $50,000. Permits, deposits, professional fees, grand opening costs, and working capital all on top of that. And here's the part that gets me. None of that includes the actual real estate. The land is separate. The disclosure document literally lists real estate as its own line and basically says, that's on you. So you're into this for $3 to $8 million before you've sold a single Slurpee. And if you convert an existing station instead of building new, you're still looking at over $900,000 on the low end. Now here's the trap inside the trap, the franchise fee. The number everyone fixates on and the thing people think is the cost of getting in. For a single Circle K, it's 25 grand. And last year, some people paid zero because they ran a promotion. So you've got this tiny, almost meaningless fee sitting next to a multi-million-dollar build. People see the 25 grand and think this is accessible, when in reality, it's not. The fee is cheap because the fee was never how they make their money. They make their money on royalties, and this comes next. Reason number 2, the forever number. Back to 7-Eleven, because their structure makes this crystal clear. With 7-Eleven, the company can take up to 45% of your gross profit, not your sales, your gross profit, for the life of the agreement. Think about what that means. They often own the store and the land. You run it, you do the work, you take the risk, you cover the staff, and they keep nearly half of what's left after cost of goods sold. The cheap entry fee makes sense now, doesn't it? They don't need a big fee up front because they're taking a cut of everything you make forever. This is the single most important thing I teach people. The fee is the cheapest number you'll ever pay. The royalty, the ongoing cut, is the one that actually determines whether you build wealth or just buy yourself into a job. Reason number 3, fuel is brutally competitive, and you don't control the one thing customers actually care about: the price that's on the sign. Your margin on gas is razor thin to begin with, and then the station across the street drops their price by 2 cents a gallon, and your traffic moves just like that. You didn't start the price war, but you have to match it or watch your volume disappear. You're squeezed between the wholesale cost you can't control, the brand's requirements you can't change, and the competitor on the opposite corner. In what other business do you let the guy across the street set your prices for you? That's the fuel business. Reason number 4, the overhead is relentless and the failures are real. A lot of these stores run long hours. Some are even open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That means payroll around the clock. Then you throw in rent, insurance, utilities, the constant theft, and the endless turnover of low-wage staff who quit every few months. The margins are thin enough that one bad break, a busted cooler, a fuel line issue, a slow quarter, anything can wipe out your profit for the entire year. And this isn't just hypothetical. We've watched brick and mortar retail get hammered across food and convenience. You've seen the closures in your own hometown. Inflation, competition, theft, and thin margins make this a genuinely hard way to make back millions of dollars in cost. The downside is not you make a little less. The downside is you lose it all. And here's why all of this matters so much. Remember that $2 million in merchandise sales? That's revenue, not profit. Out of that comes everything: rent or the mortgage on a multi-million-dollar property, staff, often around the clock, utilities, insurance, theft, spoilage, and the cut the brand takes. Convenience retail is known for thin margins, which means a store can post big top-line sales numbers and still leave the owner with just a tiny fraction of it all. I'm not going to put a fake profit number on the screen because the honest answer is it depends enormously on the location, the lease, and how the place is actually run. But understand the shape of it: high sales, high overhead, thin margins, and millions of dollars of your own money underneath the whole thing. And the scariest part, when you commit to a multi-million-dollar asset like this, you're often signing a long-term lease or a personal guarantee. That means if the location underperforms, if a highway gets rerouted and your traffic dries up, if a newer station opens down the road, you don't just lose the business. The debt follows you home. Your house is on the line, your savings, your retirement, your child's future college fund. That's what's on the line. So at this point, you might be thinking, gas stations are a money pit. I get it. Then what should I actually look at? Here's what most people never consider: the boring service franchises, the ones with no real estate, no fuel, no 24-hour staff, and no $8 million build. Let me give you 3 real examples with real numbers. The first example, window cleaning. A brand like Fish Window Cleaning, you can start for around $100,000 total. No gas pumps, no construction loan, you're not on a ladder, you're running a crew. And the contracts are recurring. Offices need their windows cleaned every single month, forever. And almost nobody is competing for that exact work. Moving and storage is number 2. A brand like Units does over $760,000 a year per location. People always move. They always need storage. And once your containers are out, They earn money whether they're working that day or not. And then lastly is senior care. A brand like Comfort Keepers averages over $1.2 million a year per location. 10,000 Americans turn 65 every single day. That demand isn't shrinking, it is only growing. Now compare that for 1/10 the cost of building a single gas station. You could own a senior care business that grosses more than most convenience stores with no fuel price wars, no round-the-clock payroll, no 8-figure build-out, and no personal guarantee on a building. That's the whole point of doing the homework. The flashy option, the obvious option, the one that looks like a gold mine from the road, is often the worst deal on the table. And the boring one nobody's looking at quietly outperforms it. That's why nobody wants to talk about it. If you want to see the real numbers on any of these, the franchise disclosure documents, the investment ranges, and the actual revenue, that's exactly why we built Franzi and do what we do. It's all there in one place, so you never have to guess. YouTube has this new algorithm using AI that takes all your viewing behavior and recommends a video. So the algorithm says that this video is the best video for you. Check it out.